Good morning, students. Today we're going to try and show you how to draw slow practice number 1 to get prepared for the SLO or review for most of you. Some of you may be some new information if you just added the class or just starting Inventor. So we have a rounded corner here, a long base, a chamfer, a fillet, and then this actually is a counter bore. So let's look at the dimensions of this problem here so we can see what is going on with it. We have the base, that long base being 5 inches across, and we have it being 3 inches in depth. Our front view tells us that this height is 2, and then this little height over here is 1. So I placed this in a snip to tell you how I would start this. I would start by drawing this in this corner here, where this highlight is, over to this spot, 5 inches, this line. And then you could draw straight up from this corner, vertical, and I would just continue to go vertical all the way up this total amount of 1 inch, and then I would go across. How far across to this spot? Well, if you look at your information here, that actually is a 45-degree chamfer, and this is 0.5. So this distance vertical is 0.5, and this distance across is 0.5. And then we can add that to this 2.25, and then this spot right here where it stops and it picks back up over here, if I were to draw that horizontally and vertically, those little distances are 0.25, which will come back and round later and make a fillet. Right? On this side, I'd go vertical up to this spot and make that 2 inches. And then we can worry about this curve here in a second. So let's go ahead and draw our 5 by 1 by 0.5 by 2.25 by 0.25. See how that looks. So here is our part drawing. I'm going to start on my front view. Drag that axis down to the corner so I got more space to look at and see. Start my line right here. Click. Draw horizontal. I can type in 5. Enter. Zoom out so we can see what we're working with. Go vertical, that 1 inch. Go back, that 0.5. Okay, now I'm going to go over the 2.25 and then over again the 0.25, vertical the 0.25. Okay, and now I'm actually just going to stop so you can see what we did. 5 inches, 1 inch, half inch, 2.25, 0.25, and then there's actually a 0.25 right there. I'm actually going to start over here now and go up vertical the 2 inches. That is establishing where the center of this arc and counterbore begin. So now I'm going to actually go get my arc tool, go back to my sketch palette and get my arc tool. And I'm going to take my center point. Before I do that, it comes in 1 inch, so I want to sketch on this surface. So these are all the same sketch number 1. Come right on that spot here and go in 1 inch. That is establishing where the center part is of this big arc, which I can then come and get my arc tool with this center point. This is my center spot. Swing out to this snap location and swing this all the way across till that's horizontal. Now I can just vertically draw down from here to there, or I could come all the way down if I want and snap to there. So let's now extrude this 3 inches because this information on my top view said it was 3 inch thickness. So we're just dealing with the outer shape for right now. I've got the 5 inches, 1 inch, this distance across, this vertical distance. Go to extrude, choose this piece, and let's make it be 3 inches on our profile. And we should be seeing that come together. We'll say OK. Now I can come in here and make this little spot here a fillet of 0.25. And then I can make this spot here my chamfer of 1/2 inch at 45 degrees. So we're on cancel, choose that corner, choose chamfer this time, and then type in a distance and angle. Distance 0.5, angle is 45 degrees. Make sure I get the right edge. Okay, should be able to choose the edge. So I'm trying to choose that edge, chamfer, and my distance angle wasn't working, so I just chose distance and distance, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. Choose that. It's the same as if it were a 45-degree angle, since this distance across and this distance down is the same. So that part is done. Now we can go and draw in this top piece, this square or rectangle that is in 0.62. It's 1 inch by 1 inch. Come in 1 inch and go over 0.62. I think I actually drew it where it was centered in this spot as well. So I'll show you how I did that. I sketch down here, sketch on that top view, and we can go in 1 inch from actually this corner right here, in 1 inch, and then in 0.62. So these are just construction lines to help me start. Now I can get my rectangle and drag that 1 by 1. And there's that square, and these are my construction lines for that. Finish that sketch, go to extrude, and I want to cut. This button is my cut tool right here. I want to cut into it. How much? Not all the way. So that depth should be given to us. It matches up with this, so it's only a 1/2 inch. So we're going to say 0.5. That looks like it may be a dimension missing on our drawing, so we'll make sure we include that. And there's that piece. Lastly, we want to put in this counter bore, and it is a counter bore of diameter 0.38, goes down 0.25, 1/4 inch. Then it's a 1/4 inch diameter that goes 1 inch in. Okay, if you look at this drawing here, you might be able to see some of that highlighted in there, how far that depth is. Okay, so jump back to this guy. And we want to start and sketch on here. Back to our original lines, if we find our original extrusion, right click on this. We can make this visible, that line we originally created. This center point, we want to make a center point on the edge of that line that's already there. So if we can make that visible and see that, I guess it's on the back side. It's back here because I extruded the wrong way. So I'm just going to redraw it on the front side so we don't have this confusion. Here to here, 1 inch over. Okay, that is where I want to place a center mark to place my counter bore. Mine looks crooked, so I'm going to redraw him. That looks better. Here's my center mark right there, and finish this sketch. So there's the center mark. Here is my counter bore holes. I can get several holes from there, and I'm going to choose my center mark, and that's where this hole is going to go, but I want it to be a counter bore, and I want to change the distance to 0.375 on the top diameter, and it goes down 0.25, and then the other smaller diameter at the bottom here, 0.25, is a 1 inch depth. So notice this language here matches up with this language here. The top lines are actually the second line on this note, and then working way from bottom up is left to right here. 1/4 inch small diameter, 1 inch depth. 3/8 inch diameter counter board goes down 1/4 inch. Hit apply, and that should be done. If I change my view to a wireframe, you can see that counter board there. So that is how you should do this problem here, and then we can show you how to take it in and dimension it on another video.